Fans were stunned when the news dropped. Snoop Dogg, the legendary rapper and iconic entertainer, suddenly pulled out of NBC's New Year's Eve special just days before the big broadcast. The internet exploded with speculation. Social media timelines were flooded with shocked emojis, viral memes, and heated debates. But what really went down behind the scenes? Sources claim it wasn't just a scheduling conflict. Emotions ran high, tempers flared, and one explosive disagreement left producers scrambling and Snoop reportedly furious. Insiders say tensions between Snoop and NBC executives reached a boiling point over creative differences. One source claimed that Snoop wanted full control over the lineup, the energy, and even the wardrobe for the live show, but executives weren't willing to give him the reins. Snoop doesn't do half measures, one insider said. He wanted the show to feel like his party, not just another TV gig. Rumors swirled of private arguments, slammed doors, and even last-minute ultimatums. Fans are shocked, celebrities are weighing in, and the entertainment world is left divided. Everyone is asking the same question. What really happened that made Snoop Dogg walk away from one of the biggest New Year's Eve stages in the country? Tonight, we're diving deep into every explosive detail. The news hit like a lightning bolt in the entertainment world. Snoop Dogg had canceled NBC's New Year's Eve special, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Just days before the live broadcast, fans, producers, and celebrities alike were left scrambling to figure out what went wrong. Rumors immediately flooded social media. Trending hashtags like #SnoopPullsOut and #NBCChaos skyrocketed. And YouTube channels were lighting up with theories, wild speculation, and heated debates. But the story behind the cancellation, it's far messier than anyone imagined. According to sources close to the situation, Snoop's decision wasn't spontaneous, was the result of weeks of tension, creative disagreements, and private confrontations that the public never got to see. Those who were present at the meetings describe a scene of escalating drama, Snoop pacing back and forth, his team taking furious notes, and NBC executives sitting stiffly at a long conference table, trying to assert control over a show that Snoop believed should be entirely his vision. "I've never seen Snoop this fired up in meetings," one insider said. He was calm at first, but once they started telling him what he could and couldn't do, he snapped. It wasn't just about the show. It was about respect. It was about being able to create a live event that felt authentic to him and his fans. Sources claim the conflict escalated over seemingly minor issues at first, like lighting, music order, and camera angles, but it quickly became personal. According to staffers, Snoop wanted to bring in a few surprise performers, including some of his closest collaborators from the West Coast hip-hop scene. NBC executives, however, reportedly insisted on a family-friendly approach with mainstream pop acts. Creating the first major clash, emotions ran high, one insider revealed. Doors were slammed. Words were said that people weren't supposed to hear. Producers tried to negotiate, but Snoop wasn't having it. He doesn't compromise his vision ever. Even Snoop's own family was reportedly divided over the situation. Some argued that he should just play ball and keep the cameras rolling, while others backed his decision to walk away rather than settle for a watered-down performance. The family was left divided, the source said. Some were worried about the headlines. Others said, "This is Snoop. He does things his way or not at all." The situation came to a head during a heated meeting just days before the show. Witnesses say the meeting started calmly enough, with NBC producers presenting their final schedule and stage plan. But Snoop quickly pushed back, questioning every detail from the order of performances to the type of confetti that would fall during the countdown. One executive reportedly suggested a scripted toast with a co-host, which Snoop rejected outright. "You're telling me how to throw a party?" Snoop allegedly said, slamming his hand on the table. "This is supposed to be live, real, and for the fans, not some pre-packaged corporate nonsense." The room reportedly went silent. Cameras weren't rolling, but everyone present remembers the tension. Some producers tried to reason with him, saying that deviations from the plan could affect broadcast standards and sponsor obligations. But Snoop, known for his decades of experience and iconic live performances, refused to back down. Fans are shocked, the insider added. People think Snoop just canceled because of money or a scheduling conflict. But it's deeper than that. It's about integrity, respect, and how much control he has over the show he's headlining. Sources also claim that behind the scenes there were moments of negotiation, tears, and even threats. One unnamed producer allegedly whispered, "If Snoop walks out, this is going to be a disaster for NBC." But Snoop's response was clear. "Then, it's a disaster I can't be part of. I won't compromise." Fans who were following his social media in the days leading up to the show noticed cryptic posts from Snoop hinting at stress and frustration. Some interpreted the posts as hints about his participation, while others believed they were just casual updates. But now, looking back, insiders say these posts were him preparing his audience for the shock that would soon drop by the time word got out publicly. Chaos had already ensued. Ticket holders, advertisers, and co-hosts were all left scrambling. Some fans even reported receiving automated messages saying the show would proceed without Snoop. While others began speculating about surprise replacements, the buzz exploded. One staffer described the fallout like this: "The team was panicking. NBC execs were on calls with sponsors trying to calm them down. Snoop was calm, collected, but firm. He didn't budge. That's Snoop. That's why people love him. He does things on his terms." And while the media was speculating, insiders hinted that Snoop's cancellation might be linked to more than just creative disagreements. There were rumors about clashes with co-hosts, arguments about camera positions, and even tension over how Snoop's wardrobe would be showcased. One source revealed, "It's wild. It's everything all at once." Fans have no idea how intense this got behind closed doors. According to reports, Snoop's team was negotiating tirelessly, trying to find a compromise. But NBC executives reportedly insisted on pre-approved scripts and network guidelines that Snoop considered restrictive. In a final showdown, Snoop reportedly said something that no one in the room will ever forget: "If I can't do it my way, I'm not doing it at all. You want a Snoop show? You get the real Snoop. Otherwise, count me out. Otherwise, count me out." And with that, the decision was made. NBC scrambled to find a solution, but the damage was done. Fans, media outlets, and celebrities immediately flooded social media with reactions. Some praised Snoop for standing his ground. Others criticized him for leaving millions of viewers hanging on New Year's Eve. The tension didn't stop there. Rumors began swirling about internal leaks, secret recordings of meetings, and even potential legal disputes over contract clauses. Fans speculated endlessly. Was this a stunt? Was there more drama behind the scenes? Was Snoop negotiating for something bigger? One viral thread read, "Snoop Dogg canceled NBC's NYE show because he won't be told how to throw a party. Iconic." Another, "Emotions ran high, family divided, and the network panicked." Meanwhile, Snoop stays legendary. And while the official statement from NBC was polite, calling Snoop's decision regrettable but respected, insiders say the truth is far juicier. The drama in those meeting rooms would make a reality show look tame. The source said, "After the initial meetings that led to Snoop Dogg walking away, the drama didn't just simmer, it exploded behind the scenes." Sources say that once NBC executives realized that Snoop wasn't budging, emotions ran higher than anyone anticipated. The room was tense, one insider revealed. You could feel the air crackle. Snoop doesn't just cancel for nothing. This was personal. He felt disrespected. Apparently, the tipping point wasn't just creative differences, it was a clash of egos. Snoop reportedly refused to follow a preset script that NBC had drafted for the countdown portion of the show. According to insiders, he said the network's plan sucked all the soul out of the party. When executives tried to explain that sponsors and broadcast standards required certain elements, Snoop allegedly slammed his hands on the conference table and shouted, "I don't care about your sponsors. This is for the fans." But it wasn't only executives who felt the heat. Co-hosts and performers were reportedly caught in the crossfire. One source revealed a heated exchange with a pop singer scheduled to perform alongside Snoop. She was reading from a teleprompter and Snoop stopped rehearsal. The insider said, "Do you even know why you're singing that? Do you feel it?" he asked. When she hesitated, he shook his head and walked off. Fans watching online began picking up on subtle hints from Snoop's social media. Cryptic posts, short video clips of empty stages, and subtle emojis sparked endless speculation. People were losing their minds. One staffer said, "Everyone thought it was a stunt. But trust me, it wasn't. This was Snoop being Snoop." Inside NBC, panic began to ripple. Producers reportedly called emergency meetings trying to rework the entire show in less than 72 hours. One insider described it as organized chaos. Camera crews scrambling to rearrange stage setups. Performers receiving last-minute new cues. And PR teams drafting statements to calm both fans and advertisers. But Snoop's team stood firm. They reportedly held their own private meetings late at night, questing every segment, questioning every detail, and ultimately advising Snoop, "Don't compromise. If it's not perfect, walk." And walk he did. Sources claim that behind the scenes, the family was also caught in a storm. Some of Snoop's close friends reportedly tried to talk him out of canceling, worried about negative publicity. Others, however, sided with him completely. One insider said he has people around him who understand his vision. They said, "If you don't walk, you'll regret it forever." Meanwhile, social media reactions were savage. Fans flooded Twitter and Instagram with comments, ranging from praise for Snoop standing his ground to outrage over him leaving a national broadcast hanging. Hashtags like #SnoopCancelsNye and #NBC failed dominated trending topics. Some commentators speculated that this move could damage Snoop's reputation, while others celebrated him for sticking to his artistic guns. Things escalated further when a leaked recording of a meeting surfaced online. In the clip, a tense Snoop can be heard saying, "I've been entertaining people for decades. I know how to run a show. If you don't respect that, I'll step aside." The clip went viral, with fans dissecting every word and media outlets running stories questioning NBC's handling of the situation. And then came the wildest twist. Insiders claim that Snoop's cancellation triggered a chain reaction of backstage drama. One performer allegedly refused to continue rehearsals after hearing about the cancellation. Another reportedly threatened to pull out unless compensation was adjusted. The entire production team was scrambling, and emotions ran high as tempers flared. It was absolute chaos, a source said. People were yelling, crying, and panicking. It looked like a reality show, not a New Year's Eve special. Even celebrity friends weighed in. Some publicly supported Snoop, praising him for his integrity and authenticity. Others subtly criticized him, implying that walking away from a massive platform wasn't smart. Rumors also circulated that rival networks were watching closely, seeing an opportunity to swoop in for ratings gold. Meanwhile, insiders revealed that Snoop's relationship with the network had been strained for months. Apparently, previous disagreements over promotional strategies, set design, and even camera angles had created tension long before this incident. This wasn't out of nowhere, a source said. It was the final straw. Behind closed doors, Snoop was reportedly calm but firm. "I've done this for decades," he told his team. "I know what I want, and if they can't deliver, then it's not worth it." Friends and family reportedly tried to convince him to reconsider, pointing out the millions of viewers who expected him. But Snoop's answer remained consistent. "I'll do it my way, or not at all." And the fans, they were going wild. Some praised Snoop for prioritizing artistry over obligation. Others were furious, accusing him of being unprofessional and letting down viewers. Social media exploded with memes showing empty stages, countdown clocks stuck at 10 seconds, and Snoop walking away dramatically. The story became trending news almost immediately. But the behind-the-scenes drama didn't stop there. According to sources, NBC executives scrambled to replace Snoop with a last-minute performer. Tempers flared as producers fought with sponsors. Performers argued about changes to schedules, and crew members worked around the clock to redesign the show. It was madness, one insider said. Nothing was normal. Everything was rushed. Everyone was stressed out of their minds. Adding fuel to the fire. Another insider claimed that Snoop's decision caused tension within his own team. Some wanted to negotiate a compromise with NBC, while others supported Snoop walking away entirely. It created a divide, the insider said. People were worried about finances, reputations, and contracts. But Snoop doesn't care about that. He cares about the vision. The public narrative continued to evolve. Headlines ran wild. Snoop Dogg walks away from NBC Nice show. Network panics as Snoop cancels live broadcast, and Snoop Dogg versus NBC, the untold story. Late-night talk shows covered the drama. Social media influencers debated endlessly. Fans were glued to screens, refreshing news feeds for updates. One viral clip allegedly showed Snoop leaving the building.com and composed as if nothing had happened. While NBC staff scrambled behind him, the contrast between his smooth demeanor and the chaos around him became an internet sensation, sparking thousands of reactions from memes to fan theories. Insiders hinted at another twist. Supposedly, Snoop's exit caused a ripple effect in Hollywood. Other artists scheduled to perform were reconsidering their contracts. Some networks began strategizing around him, and production teams started taking notes for future negotiations. People realized that Snoop has power, the insider said. He's not just a performer, he's a force. And yet, through all the chaos, Snoop reportedly stayed grounded. Sources said he spent the night with his family, reflecting on the decision. He's not bothered by what people say, the insider revealed. He knows he did what he had to do. And for Snoop, that's what matters. While the public only saw headlines and viral memes. Behind the scenes, the tension was reaching levels no one had predicted. NBC executives were reportedly calling emergency meetings every hour, trying to figure out how to salvage the broadcast. Producers were on edge, performers were panicking, and even longtime crew members were whispering that this might be the biggest backstage meltdown in network history. Insiders say the drama escalated when Snoop's creative team demanded full control over the music lineup and visual production. One executive allegedly replied, "We have sponsors to satisfy, and we can't just let you freestyle the whole show." That, according to sources, was the spark that ignited a heated argument. Snoop, who has spent decades curating live performances that feel authentic and unforgettable, reportedly slammed his hand on the table and said, "If it isn't real, it isn't happening. I don't do fake." Emotions ran high. Doors were reportedly slammed. Phones were thrown on tables. And several staffers were seen leaving the building mid-meeting, shaking their heads in disbelief. One source described the scene. It felt like a reality show. People were yelling, crying, trying to negotiate, and Snoop just stood there, calm but unmovable. You could feel the room shaking with tension, adding fuel to the fire. Rumors surfaced that a last-minute performer scheduled to join the show refused to rehearse. After hearing about Snoop's cancellation, according to insiders, the performer's team demanded increased compensation, claiming that the sudden changes disrupted their schedule and marketing plans. It was chaos, one staffer admitted. Everybody was pointing fingers, nobody knew what was next. And Snoop wasn't budging. He was like a storm you can't stop. Snoop's family and close friends reportedly weighed in behind the scenes. Some urged him to compromise, worried about the media fallout and negative publicity. Others fully supported his decision, telling him that walking away was a statement of integrity and authenticity. One insider said the family was divided. Some thought it was reckless. Others said, "This is Snoop. He doesn't do things halfway." Meanwhile, social media exploded. Fans flooded Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok with reactions. Memes of Snoop walking off stage, empty countdown clocks, And exaggerated depictions of NBC executives went viral within hours. Influencers speculated endlessly about the reasons behind his decision. Was it money? Was it ego? Was there some unseen backstage betrayal? Sources suggest that part of the dispute was over control of the broadcast visuals. Snoop reportedly wanted dynamic camera angles, a West Coast aesthetic, and surprise cameos from longtime collaborators. NBC executives, however, wanted predictable, family-friendly visuals to satisfy advertisers and sponsors. It wasn't just a disagreement, a source revealed. It was a clash of values. Snoop wanted authenticity. NBC wanted safe, pre-approved content. Tensions reportedly reached a boiling point in a late-night meeting. Witnesses say Snoop laid out his vision in front of the entire production team. Live instruments, authentic West Coast vibes, and a surprise countdown featuring his closest collaborators. NBC executives countered with a scripted segment, pre-recorded performances, and multiple backup plans. According to insiders, tempers flared, voices were raised. And a producer allegedly whispered, "This is going to end badly." Snoop's response, "Then it ends. I don't compromise my art." After hours of negotiation and escalating arguments, Snoop reportedly made the final decision to step away. Staffers said the room fell silent, a mix of shock, relief, and disbelief filling the air. One insider said nobody expected him to actually walk. But Snoop has never been predictable. That's why people love him. As news of the cancellation leaked to the public, the backlash began. Fans were divided. Some praised Snoop for standing his ground and refusing to perform in a watered-down, corporate-controlled show. Others criticized him for abandoning viewers on one of the biggest televised nights of the year. Social media threads exploded with debate. And late-night talk shows couldn't resist commenting on the chaos, adding even more drama. Insiders claim NBC scrambled to find a replacement host at the last minute. The production team reportedly contacted several high-profile entertainers, only to be turned down repeatedly. One source said, "Everybody wanted to know what happened. Nobody wanted to step into that mess." Meanwhile, Snoop's team was reportedly reviewing every aspect of the situation, ensuring that his reputation remained untarnished. According to sources, they were preparing statements, controlling leaks, and reinforcing the narrative that Snoop's decision was about artistry and integrity, not ego or money. The ripple effects of the cancellation reportedly reached Hollywood itself. Some artists considered renegotiating their contracts. Networks began strategizing around him, and production teams took notes for future negotiations. People realized that Snoop has power, and insiders said, "He's not just a performer. He's a force." Fans, of course, had their own theories. Was this a stunt to generate buzz? Was there a hidden dispute with co-hosts or sponsors? Was Snoop planning a surprise, and this was all part of the act? Social media was buzzing with speculation, conspiracy theories, and memes. One viral comment read, "Snoop didn't cancel, he just elevated the game. NBC couldn't handle it. NBC couldn't handle it." Even within Snoop's inner circle, emotions ran high. Some team members were concerned about contracts and finances. Others worried about public perception and media scrutiny. But Snoop's stance remained unwavering. "I don't need approval," he reportedly told his team. "I know what's right for my fans. That's all that matters." Meanwhile, NBC faced mounting pressure. Sponsors demanded explanations. Staffers scrambled to adjust production schedules. The media hunted for insider information. And fans, they kept refreshing social media for updates, dissecting every tweet, post, and report for hidden clues. The drama even spilled into celebrity circles. Some stars publicly supported Snoop, celebrating his commitment to authenticity. Others hinted at frustration, suggesting that leaving a major broadcast without notice was reckless. Meanwhile, tabloids ran speculative headlines. Snoop Dogg versus NBC, the untold story. Backstage meltdown, the drama behind Snoop's NYE exit. And Snoop Dogg cancels countdown. Fans react. Inside the production offices, emotions were at a breaking point. Staffers reported tears, shouting matches, and intense negotiations. One producer said it was like a hurricane. Everything we planned went out the window. But Snoop, calm as ever, unshakable, legendary. And just when it seemed the story couldn't get any bigger, insiders hinted at one final twist: the possibility that Snoop's exit could trigger contractual disputes, influencer backlash, and media investigations. This isn't just about a New Year's Eve show anymore, a source said. This could change how networks handle live performances forever. After the shockwaves of Snoop Dogg's cancellation hit the media, the drama behind the scenes intensified. Sources say that NBC executives, already on edge, were scrambling to salvage the New Year's Eve special. Phone lines were reportedly jammed with panicked calls to sponsors, performers, and production crews. It was total chaos, one insider revealed. The room felt like it was going to implode. Everyone was yelling, arguing, and trying to fix something that was completely out of control. Snoop's team, meanwhile, remained calm but strategic. Sources say he refused to be baited by network pressure. He didn't care about ratings or contracts in that moment, an insider said. He only cared about the integrity of the performance and what he was willing to deliver to the fans. That's Snoop. The creative disagreements weren't just about the stage or set. According to insiders, Snoop was also pushing for full control over the live broadcast's messaging, camera angles, and special effects. NBC reportedly resisted, wanting predictable content that fit the network's family-friendly image. When Snoop pressed, one executive allegedly snapped, "We run the show. You're just a performer." That comment reportedly ignited a fiery exchange. Snoop's retort, according to sources: "Then it's a show without me. I'm not here to be told how to party or how to celebrate with my fans." Emotions ran high. Doors were slammed. Phones were thrown on tables. Staffers reportedly left the building mid-meeting in disbelief. One insider described it as a hurricane of tension. Snoop standing there, calm, collecting himself, while chaos exploded around him, adding fuel to the fire. Reports surfaced that NBC had scheduled a co-host who Snoop allegedly refused to work with due to creative clashes. He didn't feel the chemistry was right, an insider said. Snoop said he couldn't perform his best with someone who didn't share his energy or vision. This reportedly triggered additional stress among production staff, some of whom feared legal repercussions if Snoop's departure affected contractual obligations. Meanwhile, the public reaction exploded on social media. Fans debated endlessly about whether Snoop was justified or reckless. Memes of him walking off stage, empty countdown clocks, and dramatic cartoon versions of NBC executives flooded timelines. The hashtags #Snoop cancels NIA, #NBC disaster, and #Snoop DOGG sway dominated trending topics. Late-night hosts jumped on the story, adding more fuel to the media frenzy. Inside Snoop's camp, family and friends reportedly offered mixed advice. Some encouraged compromise, fearing backlash. Others pushed him to stand firm. The family was divided, one insider revealed. Some said he should perform no matter what. Others said this is Snoop. He's not going to settle. Rumors also began swirling about leaked recordings of Snoop's private meetings with NBC staff. In one clip, Snoop allegedly says, "I've been throwing parties my whole life. I know how to make it unforgettable. If you can't trust me to do that, I'm gone." That clip immediately went viral, sparking debates over Snoop's integrity versus perceived arrogance. To complicate matters, insiders claim that some performers scheduled to appear on the show demanded extra pay or threatened to pull out after hearing about Snoop's cancellation. The production team reportedly worked frantically to renegotiate contracts while keeping the broadcast on track. But uncertainty lingered. It was madness, one insider said. Everyone was panicking, but Snoop stayed calm, like a storm passing through without losing focus, adding yet another layer of tension. It's reported that rival networks began circling, seeing a golden opportunity to scoop up ratings. Executives allegedly made calls to artists and producers in hopes of creating competing events. According to one insider, the second word got out that Snoop left, every network in town was dialing and scheming. That's how big this drama became. Even as Snoop departed from the NBC offices, sources say he remained poised and professional. Fans watching social media claimed they saw him post cryptic messages hinting at the situation, fueling even more speculation. One post allegedly read, "Sometimes you gotta do it your way or not at all. Real recognizes real." The internet exploded, with fans dissecting every word, emoji, and punctuation mark. NBC. Meanwhile, faced immense pressure to salvage the broadcast. Production crews reportedly worked through the night, rewriting segments, rearranging performers, and scrambling to fill Snoop's absence. According to insiders, tensions among the staff reached a breaking point, with arguments and tears erupting at nearly every turn. It was a nightmare, a producer admitted. The chaos was unbelievable, but Snoop's absence was the spark that ignited it all. Backstage, sources claim there were heated confrontations between some NBC executives and performers. One insider alleged that a celebrity guest threatened to cancel unless certain accommodations were made, citing Snoop's departure as the reason. Another performer reportedly demanded additional rehearsals and changes to choreography, creating a ripple effect that threw the entire schedule off balance. Even Snoop's own team reportedly faced internal disagreements. Some members advised negotiating a compromise with NBC, while others argued that walking away entirely was the only option. One source said there were whispers of lawsuits, contract clauses, and PR nightmares. But Snoop stayed firm. His team knew if he compromised, it would go against everything he stood for. The media frenzy intensified as news outlets, YouTubers, and bloggers speculated endlessly. Headlines like "Snoop Dogg cancels live NYE show," "Backstage chaos revealed," and "NBC scrambles after icon walks out" dominated feeds. Viral clips and GIFs of Snoop's supposed exit moments circulated widely, prompting reactions from fans, celebrities, and late-night talk shows. Amid the chaos, insiders hint that Snoop's exit could spark long-term changes in the entertainment industry. According to sources, executives and artists are now reevaluating how much creative control performers should have over live broadcasts. People realize that Snoop has power, a staffer revealed. He's not just an entertainer, he's a cultural force who can move networks and shake the entire industry. By the time the day ended, Snoop Dogg had walked away from NBC's New Year's Eve special, leaving a trail of drama, speculation, and intense media coverage. Fans were left divided, some praising his integrity, others criticizing his timing. Social media buzzed non-stop. Late-night hosts dissected every angle. And the entertainment world was left stunned at how a single artist could append an entire network production. The story didn't stop there. Sources hint that Snoop's decisions set off a domino effect, creating tension with other performers, production teams, and networks. One insider said this could be the start of a new era in entertainment. Artists are realizing they don't have to compromise for networks. Snoop just proved it. And while NBC released a polite official statement saying they respected Snoop's decision, insiders say the network's internal meetings were anything but calm. It was panic mode 24/7, one staffer said. The cancellations, the last minute negotiations, the media, everything was out of control. And Snoop, totally composed, unshakable. Finally, behind the social media storm and network chaos, insiders claim that Snoop spent the night with his family and closest friends reflecting on the decision. He didn't care about the ratings or the backlash, one source revealed. For Snoop, it was about integrity, authenticity, and giving the fans the real experience. That's what matters most to him. As the world watched and speculated, one thing became clear. Snoop Dogg's walkout was more than a cancellation, which is a statement. A reminder that no matter the size of the stage or the demands of a network, some artists refuse to compromise their vision, their craft, and their truth. And just like that, the curtain fell on one of the most shocking New Year's Eve stories in recent memory. Snoop Dogg walking away from NBC wasn't just a cancellation. It was a statement, a power move, and a reminder that sometimes integrity and vision come before ratings, contracts, or public approval. The network scrambled, performers panicked, fans debated endlessly, and the media had a field day. The family was reportedly divided. Emotions ran high backstage, and the ripple effects could be felt across the entire entertainment industry. But here's the burning question: what happens next? Will NBC attempt to negotiate with Snoop for a future event? Will other artists follow his lead and demand more creative control? Or is this the start of a new era, where networks realize that some performers won't compromise their vision for the sake of a broadcast? Fans are shocked, insiders are talking, and the drama isn't over. In fact, it's only just begun. Now it's your turn. What do you think really went down behind the scenes? Was Snoop right to stand his ground, or should he have just gone along with the network? Could this affect his legacy, or does it solidify his reputation as one of the most authentic performers in the business? We want to hear your thoughts, your theories, and your reactions. If you're ready to dive deeper into the world of celebrity drama, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. Comment below with your opinions, because this story is far from over. And trust me, you'll want to be here when the next explosive detail drops. The countdown may have ended, but the chaos is just getting started. Stay tuned, because the Snoop Dogg versus NBC saga is one for the history books.